this?
Welcome to the Killer Comic Show.
Welcome to the Killer Comic Show.
Techno.
Welcome. These Thursdays are coming around thick and fast. It seems like only last week it was Thursday.
It was Thursday last week, wasn't it?
It was Thursday last week. At this same time last week, it was the same time as it was. Mental.
It was same time. Was it the same time?
I think it was the same time. What is going on with this world? How are we, Thomas?
I'm very good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm good. We're one down tonight because Andy is he's just gone into a conference call with work. So he said he might be jumping on with us in the chat later, but I think he's working all hours God sends at the moment. So he can't join us for the better part of the evening or most of the evening, to be fair. But it's me and you.
It's the dream team.
It is the dream team. We've been here before. This time you're not in a bath.
This time I'm not in a bath. Dream team.
Have you been all right? Good week?
All right, mate. Yeah. So far, so good. It's been quite a good week. I was just saying to Charlie before we came on air, I'm trying to get back into my personal training stuff, and I've read a few articles and do a few new things and tried new techniques. And one of the things I've come across is trying to do this 10 minutes kind of meditation sort of thing, like reflecting on the day and life and stuff. And it's really helped. Anyone that just wants to take 10 minutes of your day just to kind of like process the day, have a little coffee, just sit, no phones, no nothing, just you and your thoughts for 10 minutes. It's actually quite refreshing, I have to be honest. I did love it.
I've got to be honest, doing something like that in this world at the moment, like everyone's either got a phone in their hand or an iPad or reading something. So yeah, I guess doing that, I've done it and it works wonders. It does.
Yeah.
Normally
I read
in the corner crying.
Yes, yeah, me too. In the dark corner like that. Oh, I hate my life. I listened to a really interesting podcast by Stephen Bartlett. And he interviewed a guy who was talking about how nowadays we have no time to process the information that we're given. So, for instance, back in the day, we used to go to a comic shop, or we'd go to a coffee shop and we'd get a comic or a coffee, and we'd sit and we'd take in what we'd been given, and then we'd look around the room and we look at what else is going on. But now we get a comic or a coffee, and the first thing we do is we're on our phone. So we're taking in more content, more information. There's only so much information your brain will take before it's like, oh, I don't need that. I'll just put that somewhere else, or I don't need that. So you end up starting losing memory, which is really interesting. I thought it was really quite an interesting thing. But we're not here to talk about those kind of interesting things, are we, mate?
No, we're not. We're here to talk about comic, and the chat is buzzing already. We've got you was first in.
Right? I was me. Oh, you?
Have you got that on auto type? So
yeah, pretty much.
At 10 to 9 it comes on. We've got Chris Bell. Good evening, gentlemen. Just to let you know that the comics, Tom, the Stackery made in Korea.
Yes, mate. I've got to sort out the Stackery to me. I would have done it last week, but my wife has decided to order a pair of shoes that haven't been delivered to Stackery yet. So I have to wait for those because we are getting married and they're her wedding shoes. So apologies for that. I will take that one on the chin. Chris, I will throw something else in just as an apology. My bad.
Look at that. Look. There we go. Leon Russell, evening, sir. Hello, Connie. Always welcome. I love the fact that Connie was wearing the Killer Comics t-shirt at the gym the other day.
Oh, mate.
Repping for the KC Massive. So massive thanks for that. Shout out to the one and only Poptimus. Yes, the Rude Boys. How are we all doing? Who else have we got in? We've got Panels in a Half Pint Superhero. Oi. Let's go. Good evening, ABZ.
Let's go.
How are you doing? So he confused me earlier. He said it's Thursday again, time for the Friday show. And I was like, hold on a minute. I had to message him going, you've confused me. I literally have no idea what's going on. But we're here. It's Thursday, or is it Friday? Who will know? Fuzzy Dunlop, watcher, humanoids. Fuzzy 40 tomorrow. Good dude. Fuzzy is 40 tomorrow.
Wow, mate, that's awesome.
I always thought you was a 22-year-old female tennis player, but
Me
you're
too.
40 tomorrow. So you've just confirmed that you're
But he
40.
could be a 40-year-old tennis player.
Who knows? Who knows? But
Female
yeah,
tennis player.
we won't take up too much of your time tonight. And I think, as someone just mentioned, it's going to be probably about a 45-minute shorter show because Andy isn't here with his indie picks, but we still got them and we still got his notes. So yeah, sit back and relax because this could go on a while. We've got Dave Collects. Yeah. He's clearly at work because he always is at work every Thursday. Happy birthday for tomorrow, Fuzzy. Blatantly older than 40 means you. GP, Venom and Collectibles. All right, mate. How are you doing? What else have we got? We've got, this is going to be a much shorter show. There we go. It was Sean that mentioned that. Leon, I must admit to try to find 10 minutes every day to go for a hard think. Honestly, I think if you can do that,
Way forward, mate. If you
just
can do it,
sit down and chill out.
yeah, it's amazing how much you don't give yourself enough time for just you.
Yeah.
If you can find 10 minutes a day, makes a whole world of difference.
And there we go. Connie has said, I'm not sure I should be allowed to left alone with my thoughts for 10 minutes. Do 5 then. It's fine. Do 5. Do 5. I always talk to myself, and to be honest, I have the best conversations and I'm never wrong. So that's the way forward.
It's not called talking to yourself when you're talking to me, Charlie. I am not a figure of your imagination.
You're real? You're real?
I am. Well, I hope so. Otherwise, I'm living a really strange existence.
We've got Mark Oldroyd, Evening Killers. We've got
Sexiest Man on YouTube.
Sexiest Man on YouTube. Delay the wedding. Priorities. No, it's all good, lads. It's all good. And then we've got so much love for everyone's favourite fuzzy ball. Happy birthday, sir. Happy birthday.
Yeah, man.
Right, so have we got any pickups this week? I know Andy's not here, so...
Yeah, I've picked up absolutely nothing. So, brilliant. Over to you.
Okay, so I've just got one thing. This was from limited edition. They're 50% off sale.
Wow.
Sale. I got this. I couldn't resist it. It was very nice little Demon Days X-Men J. Scott Campbell 9.8. It was absolutely beautiful. And I'm looking forward to receiving something in the post from Mr. Mailing as well. So short, sharp and sweet, a bit like myself.
I don't know if I can get it into a box though.
You can put the CGC in a box if we're still talking about it.
Sorry. I thought you said you wanted to receive my package in post.
You can send that as well if you want, mate. But I don't know if Hermes.
I don't think they do a box small enough, to be honest.
I don't know if Hermes will actually send it through to me.
Thanks.
So, but there we go. So that's it. That's it. We've cut the show in 25 minutes shorter than that because we haven't got Andy again for his whole of the week.
What did you get, Andy? Well, I got this.
I got this.
And I got this one.
I got this.
And I got this cover. And I got this cover.
We've got Tom's comic books and reviews. Welcome, sir.
Hello,
How
Tom.
are you doing? Hello, Tom. So, right, we are obviously here to talk about comics, but you won your first killer cover last week, didn't you, mate?
I did. First one of the year. Only halfway through the year. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Thanks very much. I can retire early.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a little jingle.
I actually reckon that song is about 10 minutes long. The actual original one.
I think
so
it
you
is.
can listen to that whilst you're getting your 10 minutes in.
There we go. Look, it's win-win, all win-win on this show. So we're in week 16. This is April 20th. This is the covers that we pick every single week. As I say, we don't really try and make it competitive. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And it becomes very competitive. And yeah, so Andy's not here this week, so he hasn't been entered. But up first is me.
Oh, mate. I saw the black and white versions of this.
Yeah. So since Rose Besh did she did a trainer cover. I think it was for a Spider-Man comic. Yeah. Fell in love with her work, man. And then this is just amazing. I could have gone for the trade version, but in my eyes, it kind of it's great. It says Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, issue number 5 in bright like graffiti style text and stuff. But this just highlights everything. Like, this is great. This is Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, issue number 5, the Rose Besh limited virgin variant cover. Her line work and the way that she does this is amazing. She's like a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's got a background of that, but this cover, I would solely buy it. I think this is the second or third cover that she's done for Sheena, it's amazing. Like this is a pure cover buy for me. I've got no interest in the story, and if I'm being honest, it'd probably be a cover buy to send to CGC.
Yeah, it's stunning. I like it. I like how it looks like a graffiti piece of art.
It does. It looks really, really great. So that's my one this week. This is the Rose Besh Limited Virgin
She
variant
did
cover.
that one that I picked for next. Do you remember the one?
Yes. Yeah. Was it the highlight one?
Yeah. So she's stood to one side. She's got the flaming mohawk, and it's all like, so it's glow in the dark job.
So that's mine.
Now, so I went down the. I can't do it justice if I can. The Jenny Frisson route. So I've gone for Catwoman issue 42. Now I really like this, not because she's wearing skimpy underwear in the whole thing. I mean, that is pretty cool. But I like that the outline, the shadow behind her is like a fully normal Catwoman, like the actual Catwoman outfit that she would normally be wearing. And the fact that she's in the lingerie and that her shadow is showing off the fact that she's Catwoman. I think that's excellent. I think it's really clever, real good attention to detail. And like Andy said, the eyes are always quite perfection on these because they kind of just draw you in. But yeah,
I love what you've done here. You've kind of you've picked this in homage of Andy not being here. So you've gone
basically, if you want to vote for Andy, vote for me.
You've gone for a Jenny Frisson cover, but it is a great cover. And I've literally just looked at it again and realised that she's over her negligee. She's got her underwear on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you notice in what was it, Batman: The White Knight. He has done that. So when Batman's standing there as Bruce Wayne, you see the Batman figure behind him. So it's kind of good that they're kind of all tying it in, probably without knowing they're doing it. But this is a nice cover, man. Like I'm not even going to lie. It's a very nice cover. It's very sultry, and I like that.
Yeah, it definitely drew me in. That's for sure.
Yeah, I bet it did. But we've got some comments. We've got. By the way, it's a travesty that Nakayama X-Men 92 didn't get some love, you Philistines. It's a great cover.
In that cover.
It's a great cover. It is a great cover, but it just didn't fall within our killer cover picks. It was a great cover. It was a great cover. We love Dave. He's a friend of the show, and if you do want to check out a new Dave Nakayama, head over to Limited Edition Comics because they've just uploaded and they've just dropped some new CGCs. So one of them is over there. They've got a David Nakayama one. I think it's going for $39.95. I think with postage, you probably pick it up for about £41. And it's an amazing 9.8. So head over there, Darren, and check it out. It's lovely. Dave collects, Rose Besh. She's fire, man. Like she really, really is fire. And I think as the Poptimist said, her stuff is very anime-like. It is.
Yeah,
and it works so well with what she does as well. Who else we got? We get Ed Vic. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Been picking up all those Besh Queen of the Jungle variants. Love them. If you could send a picture of all of them lined up, I would very much like to see that, and we could feature it on the next show just to show how much love Rose Besh is getting. Controversial, but those Frisson Catwomans are boring now.
Oh
my God,
Andy, you said that Frisson was boring.
Darren has just been deleted and blocked by Andy, I can hear him breathing down my neck now. He's venomous. He's not happy at all. But yep, GP Venom, Jenny Frisson stuff getting a bit boring now. Chris Bell, you're right, Tom. It's clever, but Diaz is also right. It's getting less exciting. Yep. And Connie has said this week had some great covers, in my opinion. Every week I consider going back to single issues. That's the main thing, I think. Right. So my big thing is that trade paperbacks, like if you look at Comico Dino and Comics First in the World for just examples, the pictures that they take look amazing, and I can imagine like when you walk into one of their rooms and stuff, it looks like a library. It looks very attractive. You kind of walk up to them and you'd want to pick up the books to see what they are. With singles, you don't get that, and we've said this time and time again. They end up going in a long box or a short box and sitting there for God knows how long until you want to get them out and read them. In my opinion, I've got like 12 long boxes upstairs. I think I've entered them one or twice over the last year to pick out some comics I wanted to read. But with the trades, I'm reading them much more.
Exactly the same. And like you said about the Besh cover being a cover pick, I mean, buying it purely for a cover pick and not CGCing it and just putting it in your box is pointless, really, because you've not read the story. You've just bought a really expensive poster that you're never going to display. So you might as well just go on the internet and find the artwork you like.
And that's the thing. But it is great stuff because sometimes you want a cover to look like a cover, and sometimes you want it to look like a piece of work.
Mm.
Right, I'm just going to write down who wins cover of the week. So first up, we will go with Charlie with Sheena, and we've
Sheena.
got Tom with Catwoman, Jenny F. Frisson, and we've got Charlie Sheena by Rose Besh. Right, so
I'm not going to lie, mate. I think it's going to be a landslide this week in your favour because I'm going to vote for Sheena.
Are you really?
Yeah, because I think that your cover is far superior to mine. I almost picked the black and white one, but I didn't see the colour version. But yeah,
look, mate, you got to look.
I've got
This
to
is
put your thinking hat on, haven't you?
Got to get in there. Got to get in there. And
I should have started my 10 minutes before I did this.
And this is it, right? So the Poptimus has got his shades on because he's a cool mofo. He's got it going on. ABZ is quite a fan of John Gallagher variants at the moment. The cover that Andy picked last week was amazing. Like the way that he can do 3D covers that are not 3D is a talent in my eyes. And he even reached out to you, Tom, and said that he wanted to come on back on the show, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
I'm sure we'll get him on and he can talk how he actually does that, because I think last time he was running a bit late. I think he fell asleep, didn't he?
He did. He came on much later on.
He did. Panels and a half pint. John Gallagher is an absolute genius. His ha covers are unreal, insane, absolutely insane. Fuzzy, I don't enjoy it reading trade paperbacks the same way as real comics, though. I need the full comic experience.
True. Actually, to be fair, I suppose single issues do give you that experience. And also, it's a bit like a TV episode, isn't it? You read it and then you have to wait a month. So it kind of gives you that anticipation. Yeah. So, yeah, I get that.
Does. So we've got the covers in. They're going on at the moment. So we will check back at the end of the show and see who wins. Yes, Fuzzy, I'm a singles boy. Only gripe is the weight sometimes. It is. Yeah. And I think that's the excitement as well. It kind of gets you in the mood for it. So anyway, that's the covers of the week. This week, it is week number 15, which is the comics from last week. Tom picked up Nocterra issue at number 9. I went for another Venom comic, as Andy would say, with Venom issue number 7, and Andy the Oracle went with Rain issue number 4. So up first it's you, Thomas.
Oh, so it's me. So my pick, well, obviously, like Charlie said, was Nocterra issue 9. Now we have been jumping on Nocterra since issue 1, and we even read the special one about Blacktop Bill, which was great. All written by Scott Snyder, all artwork done by Tony S. Daniels. It's by Image. The main cover is Tony S. Daniels. Cover B is Mohammed Assar. And cover C is Daniels and I can't even say that. Mayolo. Yeah. But I really like that. Cover C is my favorite one of the 3, for sure. 100%. I would have picked that as my cover pick if I hadn't seen the Frisian one. But yeah, I mean, I love this. I thought this is basically coming off the back of issue 8, where Blacktop Bill joins the party, joins the crew, joins the convoy, as it were. And this is them going forward into the next bits of the story, trying to find this place where Blacktop Bill was created, because they know where they've got to go to kind of bring the light back. So they're going to they're heading over there. And this story in particular is about them on that journey, and about the girly character whose name I've forgotten, whose grandfather was killed. She doesn't trust Blacktop Bill. So she's doing everything in her power to just be an arse to him, and he is just enjoying it. I thought this was a really good book. And I think, although I'll start with a negative, right? I thought it was a little bit slow compared to all the others, but as a builder to what's coming on next, I think this really does set up the thing that, like we've discussed before, is Blacktop Bill going to become a bit of a Negan style character, like a bit of an anti-hero? Because this, I think, sets that premise up that he is an arsehole, but he's their arsehole. So he's going to essentially look after them. But equally, he isn't there to, babysit them, as it were. He's going to do his own thing. However, he will look after, I think he's trying to look after this little girl whose grandfather he killed. It seems to be that he's resonated to her. As it gets through towards the end of the book, they have an altercation, which is pretty cool. I like the way that the book ends at that point. So that's on panel on the right-hand side. Really, really good. I thought the story was good. I thought it flowed well. But like I said, my only criticism was I just didn't think it had it wasn't as fun as action-packed as all the other ones have been. So I would say it was a bit of a story builder, and there's a lot of dialogue in this one. There is one bit though that literally I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Where Blacktop Bill talks about a fight he had with William and what he did to William, and I was like, that is horrible, but I love it. I mean, what a horrible thing to have in your mind that you would do to someone, but excellent. So for me, I would say this was a killer. What did you think, Charlie?
It's funny that you touch on that, because that part of the story, I think Scott Snyder was so smart how he did that. He didn't once show any scenes. He literally just done the narrative and let the reader's mind run away with it. So you was creating how it played out. Like they kind of said it was like a Gladiator style-esque battle to the death, but you didn't see any of this. You let Blacktop Bill describe it, and I, for one, I don't know if you were saying, I was reading it thinking, this is how it played out. Like, this must have been horrific. Must have happened and stuff like that. And it was great. Like, to be able to be a writer like that, contain the dialogue and don't show any panels. It's amazing how he did that. It was really, really good. And I was well involved with this. This for me, like Nocterra, I jumped on this from issue number 1 and was like, right, this is going to be big. I think Andy, like we all said the same thing. This is going to be big. And what Panels and Pinter said is he read issue 7, 8, and 9 just before the show. Doesn't disappoint. Yeah. Connie hasn't read any of this yet. And every time you guys talk about it, I think I should, but I never get around to it. I would suggest doing it because it's so different to what Image are currently doing at the moment.
Yes.
And Nocterra is just a great comic. Like you've got fantastic artwork from Tony S. Daniel like this. Like this is so smart. You've got Valerie, and then you've got Blacktop Bill. Now I don't know if this is a subtle. Is she going to become the villain in all of this, and is she slowly turning into Blacktop Bill with how she's going to have to portray herself to get through it, to get to EOS and stuff like that? But it's a great comic. Like the story's so gripping, consistently gripping. Yeah, like it's like Stillwater. They're the 2 books that have been consistently ongoing and have been consistently great, like gripping. Yeah. There's not been this issue was a bit slow and it was dialogue heavy. So someone like you must have struggled for it. Like
I didn't, but at the same time, I just felt it wasn't as full of action as it could have been. To be fair,
and I think with the action that they did include in it, boy, was it good. Like the action scenes were good. And where I think her name's Piper.
That's it.
That's her name that she's been given. I think Blacktop Bill, where he's been kidnapped and he's give himself over to the good guys now, I think he kind of feels guilty for killing her granddad. But then on the flip side of that, he totally owns up to it. It's like, yeah, it is what it is.
Well, I think there's a bit in the book where he's like, I don't know what you're so angry about, but your grandfather died. He's like, you killed him and strapped him to the top of your truck. And he's like, oh yeah, no, I did do that, to be fair.
He's like, yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I'm not trying to hide it. I did do it. But it was good. And like some of the comments hanging around now. So GP has just finished volume 1 of Nocterra, and I've got some issues with it. Hopefully volume 2 will be better. Okay, I'll be interested to hear what you think about that.
See, I would have picked volume 1, like before Not Quite Mint stopped as a shop. Nocterra was our biggest, my biggest pick going forward as being one of those cult classic comics we'll always go back to and be like, wow, Nocterra was amazing.
Yeah. Panels and a Half Pint, you should definitely read comic. You should definitely read Connie. Really great book. Artwork is insane in it as well. Poptimus, Margaret. Her name is Margaret. I don't think her name's Margaret. I think it is Piper. That's definitely it. It looks class, but I just keep forgetting about it. So, okay, Connie. So what we're going to do every day for next week, we're just going to drop you a DM and say Nocterra.
Yeah.
Until you pick it up, until you post a picture of yourself reading it, we're not going to believe you. Panels and a Half Pint. I think it needed to slow down for this issue. It's been pretty much full throttle for the earlier ones, so a nice change of pace. I agree with you, but I mean, I like the consistency. I like how fast paced it is. So I hope it does pick up for issue number 10. Chris Bell, it doesn't feel like Nocterra can go wrong for me. It's absolutely fantastic issue after issue. There's so much potential, so much potential sides. I think you're right, Charlie. Look at the panels on the left. Look at that. That like Tony S. Daniel's absolutely killing it, man. It's incredible. Yeah. And there we go. Connie Stillwater is also seriously, girl. Come on, like read these books. These are great. Just read them. Stillwater is also on the list of books I've got to get to. We're watching. We are watching. And there we go. Look, those bottom 2 panels on the left are sensational.
Yeah, really well put together.
do you know what? They line up perfectly. And I think we're going to find out that that's a telling part of the story. I think something's
I
going
would
to happen.
100% agree with you.
It's so poignant and it's so significant and it's so well done that can't go unnoticed throughout the rest of the book. Do you know what I mean? I think something's going to plan out like that. Whether she's going to turn to the dark side, it's like I'm talking like Star Wars. Whether she's going to turn to the dark side or Blacktop Bill's going to be the savior in all of this. I think one thing that we can agree on from this is that Bill and William are going to meet again. And I think, well, they do, and it's all going to kick off. But how it kicks off, I don't really want to go too much into it because there's a few people in there that haven't read it. But if you ain't read this yet, get on it. It's great. It's honestly, it's great. Absolutely love it. 100% killer for me. 100%.
Killer chicken dinner.
Killer chicken dinner. So up next, we've got it's another Venom comic.
Venom.
Yes, we are. So we got this is Venom number 7, written by the one and only Ram V, and the artwork by Bryan Hitch. We've got the main cover by Bryan Hitch. We've got the Gabrielle Delotto variant A that didn't do me any favors last week. I'm going to be honest, it didn't do me any favors. I come last. We've got the Gabrielle Delotto variant B, and we also have the Pete Woods Spider-Man variant cover. Few issues with this. I like Venom. I love Venom. I'm a Venom fan. For me, nothing can compare to Donny Cates' Venom. That's what kind of got me massively into the Venom. Loved it. Loved the story, loved the artwork, loved everything, the character development, the whole thing. Ram V comes on. Total change of pace. Total different Venom story. Amazing. Loving it. I just want to see more action. I want to see more Venom. I think the conversation that Dylan is having with Venom is a constant battle. And yeah, I get it. It's kind of the same battle that we see Eddie Brock having when he first met the symbiote, when he first interacted and joined with the symbiote. I get that. I just want to find out how this is all going to kick off now, because it's kind of getting change of pace. Yeah, we kind of need to pick it up a bit. Don't get me wrong. It's a great story and I love how it's progressing. I just want a bit more from it. But Ram V knows what to do. Like, there's certain bits in this book you're like, wow, you've kind of just gone and done that. And we'll get onto that in a bit. But it is a good comic overall. I just don't think, I think I'm still living in the fact that Venom was so great with Donny Cates. It's going to take, I mean, that ran for like, what was it, 32 issues, 33 issues?
Yeah, right, yeah.
It's going to take, it even took me a bit of a while with his to get into it. I think I got to like issue 12 and I was like, is this going to get any better? And it did. So love Ram V. Like, he's a friend of the show. Absolutely love him. Gent of a guy. I've got high hopes for this comic and it's living up to it. I just want it to just get a bit more. I'd like to see more of Eddie Brock. And I guess that's kind of where we're kind of going now, because obviously he's writing it with Al Ewing. And I think Al Ewing's only written two of the issues.
Yeah.
So maybe they've got something big planned. But it was good. I don't think it's going to win any awards. I don't think it was the best comic I read this week. It was still a killer because I'm a Venom fan and Venom can do no wrong. The story was lacking in parts for me. I think it just kind of needed a bit more than we kind of got. What about yourself, Tom?
What about myself? Well, Charlie, I had to read from issue 3 to 7 because I didn't realize how far I was behind. My biggest criticism, and not just about this particular book, about the whole run of Venom currently, is I have no idea what's going on or who's who. And I've got no investment in Dylan as a character yet. Mm-hmm. Not saying that I won't. I'm not saying I'm not going to be into the comic. I liked some of the action that's going in it. I like this this new character, this big red character, whose name I forgot. Bedlam. I think he's pretty cool. I like the idea of these other Venoms that are kind of around the place that's are to do with this whole thing that Al Ewing's doing on this opposite planet where Eddie Brock hasn't got a body anymore. I think that's pretty cool. I like.
Is it Medius or is it Medius or
yes.
Medium?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, yeah, I think going forward, I think the story is good. I think there's some serious. There's a lot of questions that are being asked. There's a lot of questions that he puts to you that you kind of having to fill in the gaps at the moment, and then there's a lot of questions getting answered as you go along. This particular book, I thought was very good from a character development point of view for Dylan and what Dylan wants to do being Venom. Especially like you said about these panels here. So on the left-hand panel, these are like a biker crew gang that he has, you know, kind of become friendly with because he lives in their bar. And I think that's really interesting how by him being a good person and doing the good thing, he causes a serious problem towards the end of the book. And I think that's kind of thing is like what Ram V's kind of exploring is like, as a Venom, should he or shouldn't you get involved? Should you or shouldn't you do the right thing in certain situations? And in this situation, he probably shouldn't have. However, he did do the right thing. But I like that about it. I think, like you said, there's something. I wouldn't say it was bad. It is a killer for me. The whole series is a killer. And I think it's a killer because I can see, like you, the longevity of where it's going to go. Like I see, same as Kate's. When I first started Kate's, I was like, oh, I don't really understand about what's this about a god and multiple Venoms being around and this, that, and the other. So, but you kind of have to look past that and think, right, these guys are longevity writers.
Yeah,
they've got an idea of where they're going, and that's kind of where we're going to end up eventually. So we kind of got to stick with it. My only criticism, like I said, is the fact that I feel like there's two writers here with two different ideas of what they want for the character, and it comes across very much so. And I think you can tell in this issue, although it's Ram V's written it, there's a lot of Al Ewing's influence in here.
Yeah,
which is what makes it a bit slower and a little bit like not quite. It's definitely missing something. I just can't explain what it is that I think it's missing.
Yeah,
it's by no way a binner, but it's definitely the weakest book that we read this week.
Yeah. Sure. And I've got to agree with you that like the Bedlam character and this whole biker gang kind of reminded me of like Sons of Anarchy type of stuff. It all kicking off, and it is true. Like Dylan, bless him, he's trying to do the best thing and he's trying to get used to being a symbiote. And you can clearly see that Venom wants to do more. He wants to react more. He wants to kill people. He wants to fight. And Dylan's still kind of in that infancy stage of no, let's not do it. Let's just try and deal with the matter like reasonably and stuff. And then when Bedlam comes in, he's kind of like, just do what you got to do. Just take over. This is an interesting panel here because I'm kind of like, who is it?
And I think it's Dylan.
And that's it. It says dad sighting Bayswater outside Jake's bar. So is Eddie Brock back in the frame? Is this how it's all going to pan out? Is it going to be a battle between him and his dad now? Like this is going to be interesting. This is what I was expecting to start with. This is what I wanted this story to be because we see Bedlam at the end of issue number 6. I was like, we're going to get more of it, and he kind of just progressed a little bit slowly for me. I thought it was going to be too great, but it wasn't. There was a part in it that kind of took it back to like Terminator. Where the Venom's hand turns into like the spike and just goes straight through his head.
I don't get that.
I didn't understand that, but I think that might have been a homage to Terminator because it was very Terminator-esque. But I've just got to pick up on some of these comments because where are we? There we go. Look, Connie has said she's going to start treating the Thursday show as a probation check in at the stage. I'll bring proof I'm catching up. Yes, you will, and we'll be checking you. And if you're not, we're not stamping your card anymore. She's like, I feel like I can't escape Venom comics to the point I don't think I want to read a Venom comic anymore. Yeah. I'm not at that stage yet. I don't think I will be with the main story, but yeah, there are quite a few floating around at the moment. Panels in a half pint. Well, you're a busy woman doing Zoom calls with Sebastian Stan, Connie Lowe. This is the comment I want to understand. Sebastian Stan. And it was her highlight of the year. This is the comment. Connie, would you be able to post in the chat because I want you to elaborate on this because I recently watched a Sebastian Stan film called Fresh on Disney. I loved it. Like honestly, I thought it was a great film. Right, Tom, if you haven't seen it, I'd advise watching it. It's a great film. And if anyone in the chat has seen it, let me know what you thought about it because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought like it started off one thing and then flipped onto the other. Really enjoyed it. Great film. And I really loved it. And Sebastian Stan was great. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's got to say because I want to know how this went and if I can see the Zoom call as well.
Yeah, Mum.
And then what have we got? We've got Leon Russell. Connie Dalton, I visualised you reading a pile of comics while on the wall behind you is a threatening shadow of some WWF guy holding a cricket bat. Wow.
That got dark.
That got dark. That got dark. That'll become a reality if I don't read Nocterra ASAP. Yeah, it will.
It'll be Andy with the cricket bat.
It'll be Andy, or it'll be our friend James, the comic deal, who is massive. He's like 6'3", and he will just stand behind you and scope you out. There we go. Look, this is the comment I was waiting for. I did a Zoom call with Sebastian Stan last night. His personal trainer, Don Saladino, writes my gym program. I do, and last night he brought Seb on a weekly Zoom call. I got it recorded. I think I would love to see that.
Amazing.
I would absolutely love to see that. You had Bucky Barnes. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. So yeah, this is a killer for me, but I want it to be more. So hopefully with the next issue that I'm going to pick just to piss Andy off, hopefully we get to the next one.
Cool.
But yeah, you could say it never rains Venom comics, it pours. And talking about rain, as if my mate, what a segue. So this was Andy's pick of the week. So we had the main cover by Zoe Thorogood. We've got cover B by Elizabeth Beals with the variant cover. We've got cover C, which is the 1 in 25 Romy Jones variant cover. And we have the black and white sketch cover by Zoe Thorogood as well. And this is written by Joe Hill and David M. Booher, who you will know from Kanto. And we have the artist Zoe Thorogood. Tom, what did you think of this one to begin with, mate?
Okay, so I've really enjoyed Rain from issue 1 to 4, and I think each one has been a standalone book that you could read without reading the one previously. Not necessarily, because she kind of explains in her own way, narrating what's happened in the previous book and what she's getting up to. This is the only one I would say out of all four that you kind of need to have actually read the first 3 to understand what's going on.
Yeah,
I really liked it. I liked the way that she got away from the prisoner who she picked up in issue 3. I thought the horrificness, although like the artwork in this is quite simplistic, it is horrific. And I thought the horrificness of what's happened to her girlfriend's dad and why they did what they did to her girlfriend's dad is just horrendous. And it's that kind of like, I like that Rain touches on those social things that are going on in the world and how people are not accepting of other people. I like that it touches on that, and it really is making you think, hold on a minute, why aren't people accepting other people for who they are? Because it's totally wrong, because they're just human beings at the end of the day. And this, I just thought was a really, really good book. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I think the story's great. I get the fact that now I've got to the end of the book. This book had absolutely nothing to do with the Rain itself. It's all to do with the fact that this girl wanted to put her girlfriend's kind of family to rest and wanted to make sure that everything was okay with her girlfriend's dad, and also it's kind of her journey as a bisexual girl, or a lesbian girl, kind of getting through this world that she is now in, and all the kind of animosity she comes against. It's that kind of story is all about the animosity that she comes against. And I really think it's been cleverly written, very well drawn. It's a really good story. And I think the way she gets vengeance in this is just awesome. I just think it's absolutely awesome.
Well, guess what? Released on Monday was the news that there's one more issue.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there's one more to go. So
there's one more issue. It's released on, I think, the 11th or 12th of May. This was initially meant to be 4 issues. This was meant to be 4 issues, and yeah, they've got a 5th issue coming out on the 11th of May. Nice. So because I thought the same thing, I was like, this has ended so poetically. Like, this is it in a roundabout way. She's got to where she had to get to, and she's gone back. And it was, there's another issue, which I'm extremely excited about. So yeah, and I'm literally just going to check, and it is. Yep, it is. Issue number 5 comes out on May the 11th, and that's the last issue at the moment. So yeah.
See, I thought they were finishing at issue 4 because it rounds up ever so nice at the end of this. It's all like brilliant, done. Okay, cool.
But I loved it. I think Zoe Thorogood, her artwork it does take some getting used to. Yes, it does take some getting used to, because it's not perfect, and it's not what you normally find in comic. It looks very rushed, it looks unfinished and stuff, but she does it amazingly, and it's not rushed or unfinished at all. And the way that she kind of does her work is incredible. Like the action scenes in this, the social aspects in it that it touches on, like sexuality and racism and murder and whatever else they throw into this book is amazing. And it literally does just rain down hellfire. Like the way that they kill her girlfriend's dad is horrific,
Horrible.
and the way that the guy even owns up to it is horrific.
Yeah.
And she even knows, she's like, as soon as I open this door, I'm not going to be met with niceness. It's going to be horrific. It's going to be hideous. And this panel here, I think the fourth panel down on the right is horrendous. Is totally horrendous. But I didn't see the ending coming. I didn't see what she was doing. The way that she was giving the dialogue, I thought, yeah, she's just literally woke. But it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. And this is again, Andy picked this. He said it was going to be big, and it has been. I'm really excited at the fact that it's 5 issues. I'm really, really looking forward to this.
Yeah,
and
me too. I was adjusted.
And the way it ended was just great. I think issue number 4 ended so nicely. I can't see where they go with issue number 5 now. I can't, like, if it had ended at this issue, I'd have been fine. That's okay. You can see that. But it's 100% killer from me. 100%.
Yeah, same mate. 100% killer from me too.
I don't actually think Andy had any notes for this. Let me have a look. No, he didn't. Andy didn't have any notes for this at all. But I know full well he would have absolutely loved this comic. I know full well he did, otherwise he wouldn't have picked it. But yeah, so that's 3 killers. This for me was probably the strongest one for me, just from like a reading point of view and how deep it went. I would say that, and then Nocterra, and then Venom third, unfortunately. But yeah, I did like this. It was quite a strong week for comics last week, if I'm honest.
I would agree with you, mate. I think this would be my favorite book of the week. Like you said, I think because it touches on so many things that are happening in the world, and it is making you think about those things that go on in the world rather than ignoring them. I think it's really clever, and I would 100% say this was my favorite book this week.
And what we've got panels that said hadn't read Rain yet, apart from the original novella, waiting until all 6 parts are released. 5 issues. I thought it was 6. No, it definitely seems to be 5. Head over to League of Comic Book Geeks and you can check that out now. The 5th issue comes out on May the 11th. So make sure if you haven't read it, pick it up. And the trade paperback comes out on August the 24th. So if you're going to wait till then, Connie, jump on it then.
Jump on it then, mate.
Jump on it then. But yes, so that's 3 killers down. Let's have a quick look over at the killer covers. So in second place, we've got Tom with the Jenny Frisson Catwoman variant cover. And then we have the Charlie with the Sheena, the Rose Besh variant cover as well. So I'm winning that at 79% at the moment. Tom, you're just slowly trailing behind at 21%. So
well, I'm glad that I'm getting second place today, this week, rather than last.
Well, if you didn't get second place, I'd be slightly shocked. Slightly shocked? I'd be slightly shocked.
Well, yeah, we'll go with slightly shocked.
Oi, what have I missed? Happy Thursday, chat. There he is. Look, the mist that has literally taken 2 minutes from his work. We was just saying, Andy, how amazing this comic
is. The crap this book is that you've picked. I mean, that's awful. Terrible pick.
But if you do have 5 minutes to drop in the chat what you thought of it, I'm sure everyone would be interested, because this is another one that Sean hasn't read, and Connie's going to wait until August 2023 to pick this up in a trade. And we've also found out that she's on probation as well, because every time she checks in, she hasn't read the comics that we mentioned. So we've now got to start tracking her. So yes, please, mate, jump in. Oh, and also everyone's saying how Jenny Frisson covers are getting boring. So if you'd like to just vent your anger in the chat and let us know what you think about this comic. But yeah, it's been good. It's been good. And we've all turned on Frisson. There we go. See, we've all turned on Frisson. I could never turn on Frisson. She's an absolute weapon. Wouldn't turn on Frisson at all. So there we go. 3 killers down. And up next, it's time for another jingle. Time for the killer keys, Thomas.
Get your keys out, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the killer keys. Every week we look at the key comics that I think that you should be looking at picking up. Next week, April the 26th for the DC comics, April the 27th for everything else. I
There we
didn't
go.
realize
Comment.
anything this week. I'm terrible. Yeah.
That's the comment of the week. I didn't read anything this
Yeah.
week. I'm a terrible comic collector and member of the show.
Awful.
Jeez, I'm just waiting for that tumbleweed to go past. There we go. It's gone. There we go. So up first, Tom, what we got?
Yeah, so up first this week is the final issue to The Last Ronin. Now, guys, if you have been reading The Last Ronin, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin, it's been a really good run. It's been a really good 5 issues. However, the gap in between has been so big that it's made people fall off this book. Now, I recommend going back. Now that issue 5 is coming out next week, I would recommend go back, read issue 1, 2, 3, and 4 in preparation for this final issue, because it's going to be a tearjerker. That's what they're saying. It's going to be a tear-jerking issue that is going to make people really, really fall back in love with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Kevin Eastman has said that it's one of the best things they've written for a very, very long time. So him and Tom Waltz are teaming up on this one with the artwork by Ben Bishop. I'm expecting really good things from this, guys. I mean, I wouldn't quote me on it. I'm just going by what I've read and the anticipation and the hype and everything behind it. But yeah, this is the final issue and it all comes to a head in this one. What is Mikey going to do, basically?
I switched off of issue 2 on this.
Most people did, mate.
I really didn't want to, but I think it took there was so much hype around it. I think the first Last Ronin, there was 47 covers that came out for it.
Yeah.
And then issue number 2, there was 29. Issue number 3, there was 34. Issue number 5, there was 16, right? Plus all the store variants as well. And I was just like, I thought the story was lacking. And issue number 2 for me just dragged on. I was like, I can't be bothered with this no more. I can't be bothered. And I couldn't be bothered. I'm going to try and get back onto it. I'm not even sure. I don't even think it's on my pull list anymore. That's how I've got issue number 3 sitting there. I haven't even read it yet. Issue number 2 is the last one I read, but I think it's taken so long. Like as Connie just said, this came out ages ago. This came out like a year ago.
Earlier than that, mate. So Not Quite Mint, we started Not Quite Mint Comic Shop back in 2020, end of 2020. This came out end of 2020, the first one.
See what I mean? It's just, and it's, yeah, so I mean, I might pick it up, I might not, but I think, yeah, the Popsmans just said, not once have featured the best of Keys, Richard Keys, yeah, get it? There we are, I like that. I was going to say, didn't the Last Ronin start ages ago? It did.
It did.
It started nearly 2 years ago. ABZ, I need to pick up all 5 issues of that. Probably going to cost me. It probably will. And to be honest, if you're not going for a cover buy, I'll just wait until the trade comes out, man.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not buying it for sentimental value, like for flipping it in the future, or you want to get all single issues, or like Charlie said, for a cover buy, I would wait for the trade, because it isn't going to be long for the trade to come out after issue 5 drops, because people are already calling for it. Because people are bored by the fact they've had to wait for nearly a year just to get issue 5 in a 5-issue book.
I'm just reading Andy's comment. I was just asked a question on this work conference call and I literally wasn't listening and not sure what I've just agreed to. There we go. So we won't be seeing Andy a very long time. Oh, Andy, what have you done? There we go. Look. And that's it. It's rolling. There we go. So yes, this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin issue number 5.
Issue number 5. Also, next week comes out the issue 750 or 25 of Thor. This is the 750th anniversary issue of Thor. It's also going to feature the origins of Beta Ray Bill. Now, there's various people doing stories in this. But it is one standalone story. So there's various people doing different bits and pages. Donny Cates is in here. Al Ewing is in here. And Jason Aaron are also doing stories for this. Various artists, mostly Nick Glenn is doing the artwork for this. But there are various artists in this one. This one also has a kind of... the reason it's a key for me to pick up, tell you guys to pick up, is there's a little bit in this about Mjolnir and how it links into Odin and the Odin's force, and how it's revealed what is in Mjolnir. And this actually has a direct link to the new Love and Thunder book, Love and Thunder film. So that's why it's a key, because if what happens in this book is said to be happening in the film, this will be a substantially expensive book in the future.
Look at this. Look, this episode of the show is a lot more handsome. No, it's not. It's even more handsome when you're here, Andy.
It's even more handsome when it's just me on my own.
You kind of balance out the hair to head ratio. So there we go. So yeah, so this is Thor. Looking forward to the trailer dropped. Like, I am all over that. Like, I cannot wait for that. And they're literally ripping pages out of the comic book.
Yeah, female Thor and the Jason Aaron run with her in, and the one before it with Gore the God Killer when Estad Ribic did all the artwork.
Yeah,
are two of my most favorite Thor stories. They got me well into Thor. I loved Thor anyway because of the movies, but they are some of the best stories, especially her as Thor. Because at first you're like, oh my God, they've changed Thor. I mean, who is it? This is going to be horrendous. But the story gets really good. Yeah. And it's the fact that she is Thor and he's no longer Thor. And it's all about how he's trying to get the redemption to be back as Thor, but she's just a better Thor. It's so good.
And then we've got Wakazashi's Tea House. Morning, guys. I'm late to the chat, but did you talk about the War on Weed comic? Memories of Manchester. I don't know. Did we? I don't think we did.
No.
I don't think we did. That Thor cover is stunning. Evening, sir. Hope you're doing well, Pete. Great killer picks, Tom. See what I mean?
Thanks, mate.
And what have we got next? There we go. You and Andy both went for this.
Yeah, so this one, guys, is Something's Killing the Children. It's an ongoing book everyone loves by James Tynion, artwork by Weather Del Rio. Let's go with that.
Weather Deledra.
Wherever you may go, we go. Yeah. So anyway, it's issue 22 of Something's Killing the Children, and this is a key comic, guys, because this is the introduction of 3 brand new characters that are substantial to this story arc. And James Tynion has been cited on Twitter to say that this story arc that they're about to go into about Something's Killing the Children is going to far surpass the first story arc. So these characters are going to be massively influential going forward into Something's Killing the Children. So if you're a spec person or you're looking to buy a comic to flip, this might be the one to pick up from Something's Killing the Children going forward. Because this main character they introduced in the last comic, this girl on the front, she's going to be something big within the comic, within Something's Killing the Children going forward.
I still want to see if they're going to include House of Slaughter, if there's going to be a crossover, because House of Slaughter is getting good. Like, House of Slaughter is actually getting good. Like, I kind of dropped that off, and then it was still on my pull list. So I still get it regularly, and I'm still reading it, and it is good. It is getting good. So there's got to come to a point where they're going to cross over.
They will do. I think the reason they will cross over, and I think it's going to happen in this story arc, is that his boyfriend, obviously, you know, the main character in House of Slaughter and his boyfriend are in that book. But obviously he's dead in Something's Killing the Children. So I believe the boyfriend's going to come looking for Erica and blame Erica for his death. Aaron is his name, the guy who's died.
Yeah, and then we got, based on your intro of wherever Ledra,
wherever we may go.
We've got a smiley face, and then we've got Fuzzy done up the tongue twister. There's a clip. That's my weekend name, Fuzzy. Oi, oi, ding dong. Are you 40 yet? No, he's 40 tomorrow. He is 40 tomorrow, and hopefully he'll have a tongue twister and a bit of oi, oi, ding dong.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, ding dong.
What's it, Jay?
I really don't hope Fuzzy come and goes at the same time. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. So, yes, and there we go. And is that all? Oh, no. When you think there's one. When you think there's all they're done. Oh, no. There's one more. There's one more, Thomas.
One more. So one more killer comic pickup, killer key pickup next week is the second issue to Batman Beyond the White Knight. Now, the reason this is a pickup, guys, is it's because it's a Sean Murphy-verse book. Mainly because of that. These books are so sought after once they've hit the shelves because of the fact that the Murphyverse is just killing it with the Batman stuff. I mean, he is just rewriting Batman's history, but in a really cool, gritty way. This is also a key, guys, because this sees the first time in the Murphyverse where you actually see Batman and Nightwing go toe-to-toe. They're actually going to have a scrap in this one. So I'm looking forward to that.
This is one of the best Batman stories.
Yes, agreed.
For me, the way that it's just, And the covers, as Fuzzy's just said, the covers for this are insane.
Yeah.
Right. And off the back of this, Sean Murphy created his own McFarlane back car. And it's incredible. Like, this is beyond the White Knight. The White Knight is just amazing. And I love the Katana Collins one. Like, she's my girl. I love that. Like that, the Harley Quinn White Knight is impeccable. Love that. So definitely. If this ain't a key, if this ain't on your pull list, I would suggest putting it on there, because as Tom said,
100%.
as soon as these hit the shelves, boom, they're going for stupid money, man. They're going for stupid money.
Any of the issue ones are, mate. The issue ones of Harley, issue ones of Batman, Curse of the White Knight, issue Batman of like the White Knight. Issue 1 of the White Knight is actually very sought after.
Yeah.
And it's so sought after that even the Batman Beyond one is so sought after. It's now gone into its 3rd print.
Mm-hmm.
Of issue 1 of this already. We haven't even got issue 2 yet.
See what I mean? So that is your killer picks. And then if you give a scan.
Don't scan it, because it doesn't. It takes you to somewhere where you've got to pay for the scan and all sorts. I really need to update this.
Well, we will update it, but I mean, I know he's not here, and I know he's going to be rocking out. But for all of you hardcore rockers out there, and just for Fuzzy, who's turning 40 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Fuzz. This is a banging tune. I love that tune.
It's a banging tune.
It is a banging tune. Yeah, look what we got. So we've got Fuzzy Dunlop, 40 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Mr. Fuzz. Jesus, it started. There we go. Not bad, Andy. Same to you, bud. 6 scale, lol. I picked up Curse of the White Knight, 1 to 8 floppies. Ooh.
Nice.
Last year for a tenner. There we go. Floppies. Where you at? And there we go. Tom, get your top off and give us some birthday love.
Yeah, I can take the jumper off. That's for sure. It's cold.
There we go. That's an after dark show. So the Oracle himself is not here. Well, he is here in the chat, but he's not here. So this is his pick. His indie picks for April the 27th. What have we got? So this is over to me now, right? So we've got
I'm going to sit back and relax and just
Godzilla Rivals versus King Ghidorah, issue number 1, written by Andy Gorham, art by E.J. Su. This is available next week. And this one is when Mars invades Earth, Godzilla surfaces from Tokyo Bay and is pulled into battle. Wakazashi, just letting you know, mate, that Godzilla's on his way. Captured and taken by the Martians, Godzilla is forced to fight in a gladiatorial arena where he faces his biggest challenge yet, King Ghidorah. This might be a slow burner. I might pick this up, you know. I like my Godzilla. Do you know what I mean? Godzilla, Ghidorah, like the battle that they had in the film was epic. And I quite like the way that they flipped this for a card type of thing.
I was going to say that's my favourite part of this is the fact that it looks like a card.
Yeah, so I might pick this up. It's a good choice, Andy. And then Chris Bell's just said you'll know all too well how hard beating a floppy is after tomorrow, lad. There we go. And it just deteriorated. The chat just deteriorated. But there we go. It's Thursday night. Fuck it. Who cares? Newburn, issue number 6, written by the fantastic Chip Zdarsky. He can do no wrong. And we have the art by Casey Gilly. Now, this is... Emily's been doing her good work for Newburn and his gangland clients, but what drove her into her world? So this is the backstory of Emily, because I think we found out a bit about her in issue number 1, where Newburn was solving a case and he kind of jumps up to her and stuff. But I'm looking forward to this because she's kind of jumped on the bandwagon of Newburn. She didn't like him to begin with. And now she's kind of like coming around to his way of thinking, coming around to the way of he's doing things. So I think slowly she's kind of, I think someone said it in the chat, or it might have been Andy, or it might have been, I think it was yourself, as you said, that is she going to become the new Newburn?
Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's dying and she's going to take over from him.
So, but yeah, and then Andy's just said, I need to up my slide game. How off is that comic? It's fine. It's just a little bit off to the left, a little bit off to the right, but you know, Is what it is. I don't think the chat deteriorated. It's hard to go down here from where we are. Exactly. We're already at the bottom. The only way is up, baby. It's you and me now. There we
The
go.
only way is up,
That's it. There we go.
baby.
That's it. So there we go. So that's Newburn. We Have Demons. issue number 3.
Yes.
I'm so looking forward to this. And the fact is that even though this is out on Comixology and you can read the whole thing, I've held off. I have held off. So I'm looking very, very much forward to reading this. Now, this is as Lan and Angels continue the mission that her father started. Gus tells the story. Gus is the one on the screen at the moment. Gus tells the story of a man who
I
lost
am not
everything.
called Gus.
Not you, the other Gus.
Oh.
The man who lost everything and the one person who deemed him worth saving. The best-selling creative duo of the last 25 years, writer Scott Snyder and artist Greg Capullo present a new blockbuster series, We Have Demons. Years in the making, this title is bursting at the seams with epic, character-driven action for teens and adults alike. I'm still saying that they
That's
created
Greg Capullo,
Gus.
mate.
It is Greg Capullo, 100%.
So we're going to stop calling him Gus and call him Greg.
It is. I definitely think it is. This is great, this comic. Like, this is wicked. I'm really, really looking forward to reading this. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I really hope, like, they did a foil variant on the Demons for issue number 1, which I picked up. I hope they did that for this issue number 2. I hope they do it for all the issues. Because I'm looking forward to that. And then look. Andy thought our collab was an absolute tune. You've probably got your headphones in, wrong or not turned up, mate. And we've got We Have Demons is so sick. Issue number 2 is going to be amazing. Looking forward to it. Looking bloody forward to it. What have we got now? We have got... See, Andy did also pick Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the last run in number 5, and he also picked Something Is Killing the Children. You two are so alike, it's unreal. You two know exactly what you two are reading. So we won't do that. And then we've got Ghost Cage, issue number 2. I kind of reeled you all in with this saying I thought it was absolutely rubbish, but it was absolutely a fantastic read. Issue number 2 comes out next Wednesday. It's written by Caleb Goliner, and the art by the fantastic and well-established Nick Dragotta. And it is secrets revealed as they face a second wave of elemental nightmares. Our phantom-forged heroes confront their sword-wielding assailants. Learn more about their mission and face a truth shocking enough to reanimate a graveyard. Get in on this limited series that's surging up the charts while you still can. It's great.
Is so good.
It is really, really good. So good. So good. And yeah, look, you guys are nailing the indie picks. I'm not needed. Anyone need an Oracle? If you was really the Oracle, you would have known that we was going to smash it. So you would have been, you were prepared to this. What he's done, he sent through the slides. He knew that was off kilter. He's done it all. But mate, this show is run by 3 people: myself, Tom, and the Oracle. That's it.
This show is run by 3 people: Charlie, Andy, Charlie's wife.
She wasn't here this week, so we had to get you in. But it's fine.
Pretty much.
It's wicked. Yeah, and there, look, he's even said, yeah, but they can't say Frisson. We can't say Frisson. There's some things we can do. Welcome, Luke. How are you doing, sir? Late, but you're still here. It's all good. It's all good.
It's all right.
But yeah, Ghost Cage number 3. Ghost Cage issue number 2 was wicked. Issue number 1 was great. Didn't think it was going to be as great as it was. Fantastic. Andy smashed it out of the park again. Issue number 2, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be, the Celestials are going to come in. It's going to be wicked. It's going to be absolutely epic. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. Some fantastic picks from Andy this week.
I'm all over this book, mate. All over this book because I love the Japanese kind of black and white style stuff.
Do you know why I think I like it so much? Is because it's very much like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
it is, and I massively love Metal Gear Solid. So yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And there we go. Look, Hydra, can't wait to watch your Sunday show with Peter on May the 1st. So yeah, Luke and Peter are starting a new show on May the 1st. So head over to Hydra Collectibles and also Triple G Comics. I'm sure they have links floating around and everything where you can tune in and watch that. Should be a good one. There hasn't been a good Sunday show in ages. So make sure you head over there, give the thumbs up and show your support.
Oh, better late than never, Timmy.
We've got a bloody hobgoblin and he's hiding away. Better late than never, Timmy. Where have you been, mate? Evening, gents. Flying visit whilst away. Have a great show. It's all right. It's all right,
No,
mate.
mate. See you
It's
later.
all right. It's all right. It's fine. And there we go. Look, cheers, Andy. Very much looking forward to it. All welcome. There we go. And I'll just give the shout out as well. So make sure you do check back, link in, get the subs up, and head over to Hydro Collectibles and Triple G on Sunday, May the 1st. Should be a good one. So yeah, that's the killer keys. That's the killer indie picks. And I'm not sure what we're doing with these barcodes and these QR codes now.
I think Andy's works.
I think with Andy's, if you scan it, you get 25% off your first Tesco online shop. So everyone should scan that while it's still hot off the press. He might have changed it. It might have gone to Aldi or Lidl or Sainsbury's, but I think Tesco is still at the forefront of this. So scan, get your 25% discount, and there we go. And if you like recommend a friend, who knows? Why not? There we go. Just saying, perpetual.comics over on Instagram and perpetual comics over on Twitter. And he's that much of a lovely guy. He's giving you 25% off your first Tesco's online shop if you scan his QR code right now.
What are you on about?
But there we go.
It's
So
all
that's
gone
it.
to shit, Andy. Come back, please.
It's gone to shit. So up next, we've got the killer trades for April 27th. Again, these are at the forefront. These are for next week. So what we got first, we have Tom.
Yeah, so on the story of Thor, probably one of my favorite Thor runs. This is the Thor Omnibus done by Jason Aaron. It's 1,216 pages of gloriousness, $125, all written by Jason Aaron with various artists on this one. It will be available in shops next week. It is collecting all of what I said earlier about the God and Thunder, where you get the Gore the God Killer is in it. You've got Thor issues 1 to 8 from the 2014 run. You've got the Thor annual, and you've got Thor's from issue 1 to 2, and the Mighty Thor from issue 1 to 12. This is an amazing run, guys, because this is all about the fact that he loses the hammer, why he loses the hammer. Gore the God Butcher is in it. It's all about how he's killed all these gods and why he's killed all these gods. So if you want some insight on what might happen in Love and Thunder, pick up this omnibus, guys.
This is going to go through the roof. I reckon this will probably go through the roof, especially with the trailer coming out and people are like, oh my God, Jane Foster's in it. Oh my God, she's Lady Thor. I think this is going to go through the roof. Like you'll see it, like it's $125. So you're probably looking at around 120 quid, £118.
Yeah.
It's 1,200 pages. So you're getting a significant amount for your money. And as you said, it covers a lot. Like you've got Malekith in there, like the Accursed and stuff. So it is covering a wide variety of Thor villains and heroes, past and present. But this cover for me is amazing.
There'll be a cover gallery in this. They talk about I've not written it here, but there is talk on the League of Comics that there's going to be a cover gallery at the back, and one of the most beautiful covers that are part of this Thor run. It's not a key, as it were, like to pick up and sell or anything like that, but it's half this Thor, half Jane Foster in a hospital dying of cancer, and it's one of the best covers I've ever seen, because it's that kind of Thor's really strong, but the person who is Thor is really vulnerable, and I think that's really clever. If you don't know the story of why or how she becomes Thor and what the significance is to her having cancer, then definitely read this book, because it's such a cool story and idea of how she deals with it. It's so good. Really worth reading, guys. I must recommend it, and I cannot recommend it any higher than any other book. This is amazing. Please go and read it.
Wicked. Cool. The Department of Truth, Volume 3, Free Country. 160 pages, $16.99, written by James Tynan the Fourth. Art by, what have I written there? Art by Elsa Charrietier and Tyler Boss, and this is available next week. This for me, I don't know if you know much about this, Tom, but I haven't read Department of Truth at all. I really couldn't get into the artwork. Like that's totally threw me off at all. But this ties in issues 6, 7, 14 to 17. So have you been reading this?
No, mate, I've not read it for a very long time.
I mean, was it worth picking up when it first came out? I mean, because there was a lot of noise about this.
From a flipping side of view, yes. If you picked up issue 1, it goes for quite a lot of money now because it's been optioned. But as things go, I mean, no, I wouldn't say it was a good comic for me. But that's just because, like you said, I couldn't get into the artwork, and I thought the story was really all over the place. I just didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, see, this is it. But I mean, there's a lot of noise about this. It's the Department of Truth, Volume 3, Free Country. As I mentioned, it picks up issues number 6, 7, 14 to 17. So if you are into this, this is the date when it's coming out. Get over there and pick it up. Then we have Decorum, hardcover, 400 pages for a pretty decent price of $39.99. Written by Jonathan Hickman and art by Mike Huddleston. There are many assassins in the known universe. This is the story of the most well-mannered one, Decorum, issues number 1 to 8. I haven't read this, but after reading the premise of issue number 1, I kind of want to get this and read it.
It's good. Jonathan Hickman is a genius.
Yeah.
He's a genius writer.
Yeah.
And I think so. What my theory, right? This book came out at the same time as he took over on X-Men, right?
Mhm.
And I have a feeling that this was his book that he was writing to kind of get all his ideas out because he wasn't allowed to do them with X-Men. Because although X-Men was good to start with, it really kind of went off keel. And I think the problem is he was stifled, whereas this is not a stifled book. This is a really good, I think it's a really good book. And the premise that you said behind it, there's this, I mean, a well-mannered assassin, is that even a thing? I mean, well-mannered is definitely the key to this, is this assassin is well-mannered.
Oh, I'm here to kill you. Is that okay? Tough shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you know what I mean? So going back to it, Connie said, is the volume of Department of Truth the one-shots for Department of Truth? Because I'm fuming, I picked up issues 6 and 7 and then found out they were bringing out a trade of all the issues not included in the main story. Yes. Sorry to break it to you, Connie. Yes, it is. And there we go. Off the back of that, Andy's now left the Killer Comic Show and he is considering starting a comic community show called Department of Truth.
See ya.
See ya, mate. That was that would be a great show to tune into. Let us know that, and then we'll drop it in, or you can tell us next week when you're back. That's even better. So yes, that's the Decorum hardcover. Then we've got the Golden Age Lock and Key, the hardcover, 264 pages, $29.99. This is obviously the fantastic, ever-going story that's been written by Joe Hill, and the art has been by Gabriel Rodriguez. I don't really know much about this. But I've watched the TV show. I didn't rate the TV show as much. I think I've read 1 or 2 comics of this and I prefer the comics. But this obviously tells the story of a Locke family who has lived in and watched over a key house for over 200, 300 years or something like that. So yes, this is the stories that we're going to find out more about them and what tales they've got to tell and what secrets they've got to hide and unleash. It's pretty interesting. It's written by Joe Hill, who's a pretty decent horror writer as well. So I can't see anything going wrong with this comic, and I can see it pretty much being very much interesting and a very well read. It's not something I'll pick up though. What about yourself?
No, I've never read any Sandman, although a lot of people say that I'd enjoy it. But then I think that's just people trying to get me to read something horror.
Yeah. But I mean, did you watch the TV show? I didn't really watch the TV show.
No.
And apparently,
no. I mean, Holly and Rich watched it and they said it was amazing.
And there's 2 seasons of it now. Leon Russell's just said 2 seasons of the TV show got a lot better in the 2nd season. I mean, do you know what? I think I started watching it when there was something else on, and I was like, no, I'd rather watch something else. But
yeah,
this collects 3 standalone tales: Small World, the Eisner-nominated Open the Moon, and the never-before-seen Face the Music, along with the 3-part Impale Balaton's Go, and the epic 80-page crossover with the Sandman universe, Hell and Gone, all from the co-creators of Lock and Key, Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. Looking forward to it. And what's everyone saying about this? Let's show some appreciation for Charlie and Tom, absolutely nailing another killer comic show. Couple of legends. There we are. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Talk about these legends, mate.
I think he is talking about them legends. I think he is. There we go. TV show is great. Comic is better. We haven't released a comic, so you can't be talking about us, Sean. But there we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the killer trades of this week. Now we have got to the business end. This is the business end of the show. So as you can see, I'm slowly running away with it, but that's because I've got 75 different accounts that I vote for myself every single week. I'm only joking. There's only 62 of them. But Tom, you won last week. You've been living on a high life, haven't you? You've been taking your trophy and your picture everywhere you've gone.
What are you talking about?
How you feeling for winning last week, mate? How you feeling?
Well, the reason you're telling me that is because you're going to tell me I've lost, which is not funny.
I'm not at all. I'm saying
Gloating gets you nowhere, mate.
I'm not gloating. I'm just being honest. I'm just saying, right, we've come to the business end of the show. There was only 2 of us this week, and Tom, with the Jenny Frisson cover, got 35% of the vote, and Charlie, with the Sheena Rose Besh, got 75% of the vote. So I have won, and that's another win for me. Tom's not going to talk to me now because
I'm happy. I've won one. I don't care.
I boasted. But
I'll die happy, man.
That's another win for me. And hold on, wait, where's my cover fix? Do you remember seeing Andy's cover? I genuinely do not remember seeing a cover pick from Andy. If I did, I'm so sorry, and this will be void. But I will go through the chat and see if you did pick one. I can't remember you did, but I probably got it wrong. So I had a lot going on this week, but hey ho, it is what it is. So I quite like this segment, the Killer Comics Show sneak peek for next week of the show. This is where we give you a sneak peek into the comics we will be reviewing from this week for you next week. Up first, I'm glad you picked this, mate.
Yeah, so I'm going for issue 2 of We Live, Age of the Paladinians. It was a great first issue. This one I'm really interested in because they're bringing back one of the characters from the first series, who I really enjoyed, whose name I can't remember, but he was the guy who had the gorilla as his partner friend.
What's the name?
But yeah,
he shows up at the end of issue number 1, doesn't he?
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to read this because it's about him and what he's been doing whilst the Paladinians have been about. So yeah,
is he featured on the panel on the right hand side?
Yeah, that's him on the far right. Yeah,
and look at that picture of the gorilla. This looks sick. I'm literally, I'm looking forward to this. So yes, that's coming out. That's out this week.
What I will point out, right? Do you remember he had only on one arm originally?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's got 2.
See, I didn't even notice that. Well done. Nice. What have we got? Slumber issue number 2. So I've gone with Slumber issue number 2. I loved it, and I like this because it was kind of like the cross between Monsters Inc. and Freddy Krueger. The artwork in the preview pages looks a lot darker than it did in issue number 1. Artist? Yeah, I think so. But it looks a lot. This looks like more of a horror comic than it was meant to be. I think. Like issue number 1 was quite light. Well, I say light-hearted, but it was kind of like. It wasn't as dark as this, so this is what intrigued me. Like looking at this artwork, I was like, I didn't think they'd be going for a different artist, but it clearly are. Slumber issue number 2, Image Comics next week, and then Andy has gone with
not reading it. No way.
Cancelled issue number 1. This looks great.
No, it doesn't.
There's no preview pages for anything. This is all you're getting. This is it on League of Comic Books. There's only this cover. So. But
hell no.
But you're not going to read this one, no?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I actually don't blame you because I think it's going to be pretty scary if you don't like horrors and you don't like clowns.
No, I don't like clowns. It's simple as.
But yeah, that's it. That's another show done. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's been a good week. It's been a bit carnage, but yeah, you know what? It's a Thursday night. It's live. Shit happens. It's good. Andy, hopefully, will be back with us next week. But if not, you'll have myself. You'll have Tom, and we will be giving you the stuff that you didn't know you needed until we showed it and gave it to you. So there we go. Thanks to every single person, week in, week out, that spend their Thursday nights listening to us jabber on about killer comics, killer covers, killer indie picks, and killer keys and stuff. So everyone, thank you for sitting there, relaxing and listening to us. And if you do get a chance, go and sit in a corner or go and sit somewhere with a coffee for 10 minutes and just think about everything, because it really, really does help. So, yeah, there we go. Tom, what do we always say?
Stay safe, stay sexy.